Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning into the Quantum Leap series. If you're new here, hi, I'm Madison. I do things like teach people how to quantum leap, access their soul purpose, tap into their spiritual gifts, and learn things like energy healing and quantum healing. So I'm so glad you're here today. Today, we are starting a series that is going to be a 30-day quantum leap activation. So let's talk about what this is going to look like. We are going to talk about what a quantum leap is, what it means to quantum leap, and then I'm going to give you guys a 30-day breakdown as to how to quantum leap. So let's get into it. What is a quantum leap? A quantum leap is being able to say, right now I exist in this timeline. But in the quantum world, there are infinite timelines that I can choose from. Some of those timelines are going to be lower vibrational. Some of them are going to be higher vibrational. And we're wanting to tap into a higher timeline. But in order to do that, we have to become the version of self we need to be to access that higher timeline. So people talk about quantum leaping and manifestation. It's not writing, I am a millionaire 6 times, and then you wake up and your life has changed. It's actually doing the things to embody the new version of you and getting really, really clear about what version of you you want to quantum leap into. So we're going to be using a lot of manifestation techniques as well as quantum codes and visualization methods during this process. So this is not an overnight quantum leap course. This is a 30-day process we're going to go through together. And I actually have something that I'm working on professionally during this time period that I'm going to use as my example that I'm going to share with you guys. So grab your notebook and grab your crystals, grab whatever you want to get, and we're going to get into it. So day 1 of quantum leaping, we're going to start by figuring out what do we want to quantum leap into. What does that reality that we're trying to access look like? So, a couple things. I want you to write down the habits that this version of you has, because so often we think that things are just going to show up for us, and they are, but we have to co-create with the universe, right? So we can't just say, I want $1 million, universe, bring it to me. I'm not even going to play the lottery. We have to say, okay, I want $1 million. What does the millionaire version of me do every day, right? So we're going to talk about habits, and then we're also going to talk about what this version of you wears, mindset, relationship, work, days off, where you live. So let's get into it. What I'm working through during this period is I am wanting to quantum leap from being somebody who primarily does one-on-one work in my spiritual business. Primarily, I work with people one-on-one doing things like Akashic Record readings, Reiki healings, quantum healing sessions, teaching people to access their Akashic Records. Love that. But I'm wanting to move into a phase where I'm more teaching people how to access these things within themselves. So I'm more wanting to teach people, okay, I can do these things for you for sure, but I can also teach you how to do them as well. And right now, since we're in this period of so many people having new spiritual gifts come online, that's what I'm super passionate about. How can I help people feel really comfortable, really seen, and really safe in their gifts, and then allow them to step into their soul purpose through that outlet, right? So that's what I'm trying to quantum leap from somebody who primarily makes their income and impact through one-on-one sessions to being able to make a larger impact through courses and teaching people how to access these things within themselves, right? And I do feel like teaching people to access these things within themselves is a huge, huge, huge part of my soul mission. And I do feel like it's taken me a lot of confidence to go from the period of, oh yeah, I can do this for you, to you can do this and I can teach you, right? And that confidence upgrade that comes from the one-on-one work to moving into more of that teacher phase, right? So that's what I'm trying to quantum leap into. So I'm going to take you through each one of these things that we talked about and tell you guys what I wrote for mine. You can pause this, do yours in the background. You can do yours while you're listening to this. I don't care, but go through each one of these areas and be really intentional about what it looks like. So the habits. So again, I'm trying to quantum leap into this spiritual teacher space out of the spiritual one-on-one healer space, okay? So habits. In order for me to do that, I have to really, really take care of myself. right? I cannot show up and be in a place that I'm taking other people into their Akashic records, into, the fifth or sixth dimension through, meditation, if I'm in a chaotic place, right? So my habits, big thing for me right now is being healthy. Like, right now I'm probably in the best shape of my 30s, and we were at the river this weekend, and I was telling Brandon, like, I'm in really good shape right now, and like, it turns out, like, everything people say is right. Like, drink your water, freaking exercise, don't eat shit. Those are like pretty basic, right? So personally, that's been a big thing that I've been working on. I used to struggle with addiction, so I used to start my day with a giant iced coffee and an Adderall and a Xanax, and, run on that till lunchtime, right? Now I know that's not aligned for me, right? I need to have a time to ground in the morning. I need to have time to have a balanced meal. I need to have natural caffeine, all of these different things that allow me to actually show up as the version of me that I need to be, right? So whenever I put healthy, I put balanced, work-life balance, being healthy spiritually, so feeling like I'm really connected to my spirit guides, my mission, and I'm really in alignment, and also emotionally grounded. So I can't show up and teach if I am in a place where I'm really chaotic and I have a million things on my mind, right? It doesn't translate, okay? So these are the things where I was just like, if I want to be this, like, what do I actually have to be and do as a habit, right, to get myself to that place? And the biggest thing is making sure that I'm regulated to be able to do that, right? And for me personally, I've always struggled with things like anxiety, depression, imposter syndrome, addiction. And so those things still want to pop up from time to time as you're moving from stage to stage, right? So now I'm trying to shift into this new identity, and then there's this little, I call him Todd, right? So there's this little Todd that is like your negative voice that's like, but who the fuck do you think you are? Because you used to black out on Tuesdays. Why are you trying to teach people how to quantum leap, right? And then we have to tell Todd, hey, shut up. We know you're here. We know your fear. We know your whatever, but we're not going to listen to you. And I have now given my fear a name, and then I'll literally just be like, nope, shut up. And then kind of like push it away, right? Because those things are going to come up as you're doing this. There's going to be things that you're going to write down if you're truly trying to quantum leap, where it feels uncomfortable for you to maybe even write down or acknowledge that you want those things to yourself. And that's okay. That's part of the process. Okay. We got our habits. Next thing we're going to do is, what does this version of you wear? And there's going to be a couple of days in this 30-day process where your task is to do dopamine dressing, right? And so this version of me, this version of me is very extra, sparkly, sexy, fun. And I also put that I show off more of my body. Not necessarily in like more in a way where I feel like I've gone through a lot of different weight changes over the past few years, right? So I had a period where everything I wore was really baggy just because that's maybe what I felt comfortable in. And now I'm like, I don't have to dress like that. I can wear things that are like tight and show off like my curves, and I don't have to worry about like, oh, do I like the way I look in this? Like, still trying to break that barrier, right? Because again, even though now I'm in this place of feeling really good about my body, some of those limiting beliefs still creep in, right? So getting really real that this highest version of me that's showing up, that's being a teacher, that's teaching people how to quantum leap, she's not showing up in sweats and oversized t-shirts. She's showing up in something where she feels sexy and confident and empowered. And that's the energy we're capitalizing on there. This is also a time where clean out your closet. If there's things that you have that are either tied to specific memories or places or things where like you're like, oh, I wore that during a phase of life where like things were hard and that was like my comfort thing, get rid of it. Love that it was your comfort thing, but the energy is heavy and we don't want to carry that into the new chapter, okay? So next thing, mindset. What would your mindset be if you were to make this quantum leap. So I'm going from, one-on-one, healer and reader to teacher. And what I wrote down for mindset is my mind is worth millions. And there is an app that I have, it's called Stella. And the founder, her main affirmation is my mind is worth millions. And being able to do things like channel, remote view, astral project, all these things that a lot of us are working on, those things are worth millions, right? Like most people don't have the knowledge and ability to do those things. And so getting really clear about how the knowledge that you access actually is worth, or the knowledge that you possess is actually worth a lot of money and can help a lot of people, that's what you need to tap into here, okay? So next we're gonna go to relationships. So in this version of you, what do your relationships look like? Are you more spending time with family, more spending time with friends, more spending time with your relationship? What does that look like? And for me, I put deeper family time. And so if you guys are new here, I live with my boyfriend, and we have he has a son who is my stepson, and he lives with us half the time, and he is almost 5. And so right now we're really big into this, like trying to be really, really present when he's here, and like, okay, what do you want to do? Let's make memories, let's try new things. And then same thing whenever me and Brandon have our own one-on-one time, right? So that's really what I'm focusing on, is like, in order for me to step into this new chapter, I need to feel really confident and firm with my foundation, and these boys are my foundation, So being able to really try to strengthen that is what I personally am focusing on there. Okay, work. So we're going into, what does this version of you do for work? So I put, this version of me does courses and teaching, and that's it. And it felt really scary to say that, because right now my money doesn't solely come from courses and teaching. And so there is this gap, or this limiting belief mindset, where it's like, I don't know how that transition is going to happen, where my, right now financially, if I was to just, look at my courses and teaching money, it's not enough right now, but I know it has the potential to be, right? And so being able to just say, okay, I don't know how it's going to happen, I'm going to give that to the universe, but this is my intention, and I'm doing my part to get there. That's all you need to do, okay? So next thing, what do you do with your days off? And what I wrote for mine is being able to afford to travel anywhere. And there's this guy on Instagram I love. His name is Kevin. I cannot remember what his last name is. I'll try to link him in the show notes. He does day trips, and he'll literally do like a weekend trip, a day trip, and be like, yeah, I live in New York, I'm going to Florida for the day, I'm going to the Bahamas for the day. And then he does like the cost breakdown. And if you're somebody who maybe only has, 2-3 days off, I think it's like the coolest idea, right? And so for me, being able to be like, oh yeah, I just want to buy like a random last minute plane ticket to like Florida for the day, like freaking fun. That's what I want to be able to do, I want to be able to have the money to be able to travel for me and for the people I love, right? Okay, next thing is, I want you to think, where does this version of you live? So for me, right now, I live in a place that I love, but long-term, I see myself living somewhere different, right? So if you already have that long-term vision of here's where I see myself living, tap into that. If you don't, think about it. Do you see yourself living where you are right now for the long term? Do you see something different? Pin it to your Pinterest board. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so this is solely day 1 of quantum leaping. So what I would do is I would go through this for yourself. I would pause this video, and then I would come back tomorrow for day 2 and pick up. And I'm actually gonna do days 1 through 4 on this video, but I wouldn't recommend trying to do it all at once, because it is a lot energetically, right? Because we are actually trying to physically and emotionally and mentally upgrade our vessel and our mindset. And if we try to do that too much too fast, then sometimes we backtrack a bit, right? So pause, save the video, come back for day 2 tomorrow. All right, so now that we are back for day 2 is we are gonna take our list right here. We have our list that we did yesterday, and we're gonna use this list to come up with our what and our why. Here's what I mean by that. So what do you wanna do with this new life? What does it enable you to do? So for my personal self, my what is shifting from one-on-one sessions to group teachings and courses. that is specifically what I'm trying to quantum leap into, right? Like that's the best way I could break down all of this into like one sentence, right? Next thing is my why. So we're gonna break down, what are we doing in like one or two sentences? Why do we want to do this? For me, I want to do this because I want to have more time to invest in learning different spiritual modalities and continuing my own spiritual education and being able to continue to pass that knowledge and information along through courses. And I don't have the time to do that if I'm solely working with people one-on-one all day, every day, right? And so I put continue spiritual education and create balance and freedom for me and the ones I love. But ultimately my why is freedom. Like ultimately I want time and financial freedom to where I don't have to necessarily be like, okay, when am I gonna have time for my own development this week, because I'm so booked with one-on-ones, right? And I'm so thankful for like the ability to have worked with so many people one-on-one, and I'm still gonna, keep that on my website as an option until whatever point I feel called to pull it down. So if you have been wanting to work with me one-on-one, go ahead and snag that spot. But yeah, so for me, my what is moving to the teacher space, and my why is freedom. And pause, think about that, write that down, add it to your sheet, put it in your notes in your phone. Take some time to really think about that, right? Once you get done with that, pause, end of day 2, and then come back tomorrow for day 3. Okay, day 3's exercise is very easy. Dopamine dress. And I don't just mean like put on a cute outfit. I mean like do whatever so you feel really good. So I wanted to like do this last night because I knew I was going to be doing this episode today. And so I was like, okay, what makes me feel really cute? So I braided my hair last night because I'm really into this crimped look. So I was like, okay, I want my hair to be cute. I have really been loving this lipstick, wanted to put that on. I have this like flowy lemon skirt on because I love it. And that's what we're connecting with today, is just what do you wear, put on your body, put on your human avatar to make yourself feel really good and feel really confident. And I don't care if you don't have anywhere to go today. Do you want to know where I went whenever I did the Instagram content for this? I literally drove to pick up my boyfriend from work and take him to pick his car up at the car shop. And that was everywhere I went in my fabulous dopamine dressed outfit. But like, who cares? I felt fun, I had fun, and being alive is a special occasion rather than saving all these things for there to be a special occasion, right? Okay, go get dopamine dressed, and I'll see you tomorrow for day 4. Alrighty, welcome back to day 4. So now what we are doing is we are picking one of these things to put on our calendar. So we've got our habits, we've got our mindset, we've got our relationships, we've got our work, we've got our days off. Pick one of these things to actually put physically on your calendar to start as a new habit or a new version of you, right? So mine is Monday nights is now family night. So we have tea, my stepson half the time, which means that just the way the schedule works, like every other Monday, it's just me and Brandon. Every other Monday, it's me, Brandon, and tea, right? So Mondays, normally I don't have work events Monday evenings. So I'm like, okay, Mondays is going to be my family night, and that's how I'm going to use that time to strengthen like this foundation that I'm trying to build, right? But then also for me, I wrote down, habits. I was really focused on balance. And so I found a local little river I can go float in and just let my mind like decompress. And so I decided like, okay, I'm gonna go there once a week until it's too cold to go there, and just go with no expectations, just let my mind, release and relax and all the things, right? And so those were 2 really intentional things that I put on my calendar of like, okay, here's when they're happening, right? It's no longer in the quantum, it's now I'm making it happen, right? So that's the purpose of day 4. So bring that in, and I will see you guys in the next video for day 5.